and let's talk about conducting real estate virtually, because this is one of the webinars that I've taught to like 4,000 people, I think, earlier this summer. And it's still a really important topic because this, regardless of COVID, I think what that taught us is that there is definitely a need for conducting business in general virtually, and especially I think real estate, not only for people who don't necessarily want to visit a property because of safety, like health measures, but what happens if you can't make it to an open house? Or what happens if you want to see a remote property and you live in the city and you want to see a cottage property, but you can't make it? So I think that conducting real estate virtually is the way to the future, not an answer to everything, because there's definitely a place for in-person meetings and in-person visits, but to get the ball rolling.
Complete convenience as well.
Yeah,
definitely.
So there's different ways to go about doing this. So we've identified 3 that we're going to cover today. The first one is going to be, what do you do if with what you already have? So the images that you have on your computer, the virtual tour that you have on your computer, how can you use what you already have to conduct real estate virtually? So that's the first option. Second option is to go live as an event, as a Facebook or Instagram live. And then the third option is to do a custom video, and to do just a standard video, but to have it more specific to your audience and being in it as opposed to just a virtual tour. So I'll let you start with, what can we do with what we already have without keeping it simple, without going live, without doing video? Just how can we use the resources that we already have as a realtor?
Okay, well, let's use actual examples of real estate agents that are doing this, opposed to us talking like we're techies telling people what to do. So today, as a real estate agent, keeping the consumer up to date with what's happening within your marketplace is probably one of the most important things that you could be doing right now, because a lot of people might not know how busy the real estate market is in your area. Or when we blanket real estate as everything, so condos, houses, townhouses, that doesn't necessarily, I notice a lot of times that real estate agents are always saying, oh, the market is great, it's hot. And here I am with my home for sale and it hasn't sold. So it makes me not, you want to build trust and authority and things of that nature. You have to talk specific. So one of the things that I'm seeing right now is one of the real estate agents that we watch here on Vancouver Island. She's actually using Zoom, just like you and I are using right now. She's not going live on Facebook with the Zoom, which means she does not have a paid account. So she is using the free option of Zoom, and she is sharing her screen every single Monday to do a Monday morning market update. And she talks specifically about her market: condos, townhouses, detached houses, land, waterfront property. And she talks specifically about those things to the consumer. These updates are maybe 2 to 3 minutes long, so they're not big, but she does one every single week, and she utilizes Zoom. So Catherine and I are using Zoom right now. We're sharing our screen. Only what she would do is she would share her, well, we're doing split screen, sorry. We're not sharing our screen. We're doing a split screen interview. What this real estate agent is doing is she is sharing her screen and thereby doing a market update directly off of Matrix. So off of the hot sheets, she just opens it up and is sharing the market update. And it's really catching on. So it wasn't that it just was a hit in the beginning, but now people, because she's been doing it for 3 months, are starting to get used to and expect her to do her Monday real estate market update. And if I was in the business of wanting to sell my house or keeping an eye on what's going on, I would be following that real estate agent, because she does it every single Monday. So you can count on her. That is one way that you can, as a real estate agent, use technology and the tools that you have, which is your matrix, your hot sheets, things of that nature. The other thing that this same real estate agent is doing, and other realtors like Richard Silver in Toronto, is they're doing what Catherine and I are doing right now, utilizing Zoom for free and doing a basic interview. So interviewing other professionals in and around their industry, or community. The young lady in Cowichan Valley, she's doing interviews with other business owners because she's the president of the business association, as well as she's a real estate agent. So she's taking this opportunity to try to help other businesses in her community utilizing Zoom.
Yeah, I think Zoom is definitely one of the key tools for. I think people are using Zoom more than ever, but I think another idea that I've seen with some agents is to guide people through your listings. So if you have a listing and it's on your website with some photos, you can do a screen share, and it's really easy. You schedule a meeting with your potential client, and then you say, okay, well, I will share my screen and guide you through, and let's talk about this property. And so they go through the individual photos they have on their website or on their desktop, for example, and they have a conversation about it. So what I see from the photo of a kitchen, I could be just like a photo of a kitchen, but maybe if I'm a potential buyer, I can say, okay, well, do they have a gas? Is there a, like, can we, okay, a gas stove, and when was the roof done? Like, all of a sudden you have a conversation, as opposed to the person interested just scrolling through your website. And you can also actually show your video. If you have a video tour on your website, you can share that. And also, if you go do, say, every Tuesday, for example, a real estate tour to all the newly listed properties, what you could do is go back home, put your top 5 newly listed properties that you just did on tour, that you just saw on tour, and then go online and go through those properties and maybe talk about, these are the new properties available, for example, in Whistler this week. I just did the real estate tour. These are my top 5. Let me guide you through them. So that could be another idea to use Zoom, right?
And usually in these smaller markets, Catherine, the smaller markets, like we're talking about Squamish, Whistler, places on Vancouver Island, whether it's Comox Valley, Cowichan Valley, they're not getting 30 new listings in a week. They're getting maybe at the most a dozen new listings. So it would be really easy to do exactly what you said. Let's just talk about what's new on the market. But at the same token, so very similar to what Debbie's doing, she talks about what's new on the market and she shows everyone the prices, the lowest to the highest. But you could do the same thing for what has sold this week in your market. So new listings and what's sold, and show people. People love real estate. They really like to have their finger on the pulse.
Yeah, and I think even if you're not interested in selling now, it would be, I would like to have that, like to be able to say, okay, every Tuesday at 1, I can see what's the update or watch the replay. And I can say, oh, well, in my neighborhood, like the neighbors sold for this amount and this other property is listed for this amount. So it gives you, sometimes it's kind of reassuring to know your property is gaining in value somehow. Or if you're planning to do some renovations, maybe you can say, okay, well, we might have access to equity. So that's kind of utilizing Zoom and screen sharing to conduct real estate virtually without going like live or anything, but it's just to be consistent and utilizing the technology that you have to think outside the box. What's outside the box? And these are all great examples, reviewing the stats, reviewing the newly listed property, the newly sold, and be able to actually, when you do that on Zoom, then you can keep that video and then you use it on your social media channels on YouTube, and then you can, see it and make sure you post it consistently so people know how to expect it. And now
I really like it when they also interview other professionals. I find it to be very interesting. And especially I watched a Zoom interview with a mortgage broker who talked about some of the difficulties there are right now with getting financing for people that are self-employed. So there's lots of things that people need to be aware of that you can share, and you become the authority on real estate when you're really engaged in sharing this type of information.
Yeah, you keep your name top of mind. It's good brand awareness, and you are positioning yourself as an expert in your field, which you are, because I'm not a real estate agent, but you are. And there's so many things that wouldn't even cross my mind. So that truly covers number one, using what you already have. Oh, also, so your photos and your computer, you can easily maybe do a slideshow and then use Zoom to be able to share that slideshow or to help you out.
And talk people through the property, walk people through the property using the photography that you have. I want to tell you the saying that I heard the other day that I absolutely love. You and I are always talking about staying top of mind and tip of tongue. You want people to know your name.
Yeah, that's true. I like that expression. I never, I don't heard it as much as being an ESL French person. But yeah, that is totally true. Okay, the other one that is really dear to our heart is going live. So why would you go live? First of all, it's an event. People can interact with you and you get more engagement because the social media platforms are trying to push live, so people get notified when you do go live. So there's lots of bonuses why to go live. However, it's not easy the first time you do it, and there are some tips for people who would like to go live. We'll talk about going live from mobile devices and from desktop. So do you want to cover desktop and I'll cover mobile?
Sure.
All right, go for it.
Okay, so if you're going to go live on your desktop computer, Catherine and I are a prime example right now. We are live on Facebook utilizing a paid version of Zoom. So $20 a month, and you get a few more bells and whistles. So you do want to be prepared. You do want to do a little bit of marketing or advertising ahead of time on both your Instagram account and your Facebook account. You can use Facebook's live producer. It is very glitchy, and I think it's going to be fantastic one day. At this point, you either share your screen live or you're on the camera live. From a business page, you cannot do a split screen. However, you can do a split screen on a personal profile. The problem with going live from your personal profile is you cannot download it in high definition to use it on other social media once it's finished. You can't do what Catherine and I talk about all the time, which is finishing your circles. That's when your live video is over, you go in and you edit it, and you maybe take out the beginning or the end, or edit it just a little bit or trim it. You give it a title, you give it tags, you add your call to action. So maybe people can click a link and go specifically to a landing page on your website, and choose the thumbnail, right? So these things are all really important things that you do after the video is over, including adding captions. So those are the words that you're speaking in the video on your Facebook business page, but you cannot do those things from a personal profile. And the biggest thing that you cannot do from a personal profile is get the biggest bang for your buck by giving Facebook $10 or $20 and targeting specifically the audience that should be listening to your live video, because you don't get a lot of traffic on Facebook during your live. You get most of your traffic afterwards, but you get a specific audience targeted when you give Facebook a little bit of money after you finished your circle and it's all ready to get into more news feeds. So you can go live from your desktop computer and you can talk to people. You just look into the camera and tell us what it is you want to captivate us with, have a call to action. That's one way to go live just from your desktop. You can do things like use third parties. So Catherine and I use BeLive TV a lot. We no longer have a paid plan, but we both have a free option. Yardstream is another way that you can utilize your screen and share it and do interviews with people, as well as I've mentioned Zoom already. So those are ways that you can actually use the comfort of your big computer that sometimes, if you're new, can make you feel a little more comfortable. The other thing is, you guys, when your live video is over, you can delete it. Facebook's going to ask you, do you want this video to be published? Even though you were live and people could see you, when the live video is over and you click end, Facebook asks you one more time, would you like to publish this or delete it or save the copy on your desktop so you don't have to publish it onto Facebook? And this is a really good way for you to get rid of your jitters and to practice and to start to feel more confidence behind going live. Going live is very exciting and it's also very scary. So if you don't practice, then you're just building up the fear in your head. And sometimes when it's finally time to go live and you haven't done any practicing, that's when you find out technology is not your best friend when you're nervous.
Yeah, I know. Live is so scary. I always get like the jitters. And it's been like, what, 5 years we go live like all the time. Okay, I have an update because I did lots of testing this weekend because a friend was asking me questions and I wasn't sure how to answer. So I went live from a personal profile, and when I've realized touching all the buttons, and we always say touch the 3 little dots, touch again the 3 little dots, touch the downward arrows, everything. So from a personal profile, from a live and from an existing video, I was able to download the video, which we didn't used to be from a personal profile. Okay. I was able to edit the text. I was able to edit, I was able to choose a thumbnail, not upload a custom-made one, but I was able to choose a thumbnail from Facebook. I wasn't able to do caption, but I would be able to upload a CRT, so a caption file. And you could do split screen, and you can edit. The thing you cannot do, of course, is advertising. You don't have a live playlist like you have.
Is that from your mobile phone?
No, that was from desktop.
You could.
Yeah, you could do all that from your personal profile. You can edit your caption, add a title. You don't have tags, but you can add an SRT file as a caption. You can edit the text
from your desktop.
Pardon?
Could you bring someone else on from your desktop?
Desktop personal.
Yeah. So two of you on.
So desktop personal, you can do, you can change the text, you can add a title, you can download the video, you can do absolutely everything you can do with a business page now in personal profile, desktop, Facebook Live.
Cool.
Yes, it's super cool. The only thing you cannot do is it doesn't come up with auto-generated captions. You don't have tags, and you cannot advertise, and it's not as user-friendly. It doesn't look good, but try it out. So anyways, there are some functions. So for the people who have tried going live on Facebook and they actually had a great video and they wish they could use it again, you can download it, and you cannot trim automatically in live personal. In live if you go live on a business page, you can click edit and trim the beginning, which you cannot do on a personal, but you can do like 80% of what you can do on a business on personal. So your live recordings are not lost. If you want to repurpose them, you could download them and then
I know Facebook is working so hard on capturing 100% of the market, so we don't have to go and use third parties. I mean, they do it all the time. Especially Instagram was a copy of Snapchat and so on and so forth. And that is what they're working on constantly, is keeping us on their platform.
Yeah, and trying to like catch up with the times or creating things. So I'll talk briefly about going live on a mobile device, and then we can share some tips with just standard videos. But the things to remember if you want to go for your business, if you want to go live, we recommend that you use the Facebook Pages Managers app. So you download the app, and it's a gold flag, and it's really important to use that because it really simplifies your everything afterwards. You know you're dealing with your business, that your video is sitting on your business page. So you start by logging into the app. you click publish, you click live video, then you add a little description. And one thing that I've had people comment is they don't like to see all the filters and cartoons and bubble icons that come up. So there's actually a little arrow that you can click, or an X, and they go away. So you have a nice clean screen. You type in a description, which when you go live, the description is the same as the title. You just type a bit of text, but keep it simple, because you're better to go back in after your video is saved, your live video is saved to your business page, to edit it then. But so just you add a bit of description, so people know what your live
description is your hook. It should be as powerful as you can make that one sentence.
Yeah, but let's keep it to a live sentence, just if you're on location. Oh, the first thing, you want to check your internet, because you can be as smart as you want and super on it. If you have a bad internet while you're live on mobile, you're not going to have a video.
I watched one this weekend out in Maple Ridge where the connection was not good.
Yeah, so check the connection first, like really try do a little bit of testing. And then yeah, one thing that I like to look at is the flash button when you go live. It really adds a nice brightness. It's not as harsh as flash photos. I found it's a nice brightness it adds. And then you can put a little description about how you're feeling. But just to keep it simple, get rid of the filters and the doodles and stuff that are distracting. Add a catchy title or first line of text. And then, yeah, make sure that you pick if you want to go vertical or horizontal before you click the live button, because once you're recording live, you cannot switch around the format. And one of the best things I think about going live on mobile is you can change the camera view. So you can go from selfie to standard camera and back and forth, which you cannot do with a standard video. A standard video, it's just going to be facing you or facing what you're seeing. But when you go live, you can walk around and switch the camera around. And that's great.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, like, I don't even know how that works.
Yeah. Often I get students that call and say, like, what's wrong with my phone? I'm trying to do a selfie and talk and then turn it around to show the property. And that only works when you're live.
Yeah, right. But the great thing is that once you're done your live, you can, well, you'll see the comments, you can see comments and so on, people joining you. But once you're done, you can delete or you can share it to your business page where it's going to be there. You can also download it and then delete it. So there's different options. But basically, you want to, ideally, if it's good, save it to your business page, where then on desktop, and I really recommend you go back on desktop to click the three little dots and edit your live video. So you can add more text, you can add some links, you can add a title, some tags, a custom thumbnail, and so on in post production.
Yeah, and I should say, sometimes when you click those three little dots, you cannot see edit video. Sometimes you actually have to click on the video and enlarge it on the screen. And look for those little dots.
Yeah, it's true. It's a tricky little dots situation. Okay, so, but then, also another trick I found is before you do any of this, whether it's personal, whether it's a business, take a photo. Because take a photo of yourself, because Facebook and Instagram will choose the most embarrassing thumbnails as a static image that people will see before your video starts playing. So while you have your outfit and the lighting and the background of your actual live recording, take a nice selfie before it starts, or a nice photo, so you have that you can use as your custom thumbnail should you wish to do so and edit it. It'd be ready to go as a backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
So that takes us to live. But now, regardless of live, say you go to do a live open house and you have really bad internet connection, life is glitching, you can always fall back on standard video. And standard video will give you more bang for your buck than just an image. It's super powerful, but we think to even forget it exists, for we get so caught up in the going live. So do you have tips for standard, just a good old quality standard video?
Yes, you know, I just I just finished editing a 30-minute standard video from one of our clients in Ontario. OMG. But you know what? I love this. I have to say, he's using the Steadicam.
Osmo?
The Osmo. He bought an Osmo. And I could see in one of the clips where the Osmo died. So anyhow, so what Richard did was he shot, I'm going to say 12 short videos in each room of the house and talked about it. And then used iMovie to splice them all together to make one little movie on this house. But you know what? This house is $4 million. It's worth the time and the effort and everything else. So this is just a standard video shot with his iPhone, right? So it doesn't matter if you have a selfie stick, an Osmo, or nothing. It's just very slowly moving through the property and talking about it. You don't need to talk the entire time, because then you're just trying to fill the quiet space and you'll end up with a lot of because you don't know what to say. I just think showing people the property and pointing out a few things that you know or that the seller has told you is really beneficial. But what I loved about the video that he did last week when they were taking this listing was the sneak peek outside the property, talking about the neighborhood and the neighbors and the street and the schools and the transportation. And I mean, it was a beautiful day and it's a beautiful street. And I thought that was really powerful. It was a good little hook that people would be anticipating seeing this property when it came on the market. And then he went ahead and he did those 12 little videos for like a minute to 2 minutes each video in each room of the house. Now, the other thing is he actually had someone else holding the camera. So I've noticed a few mistakes that a number of people are making when they're doing these videos, having someone else hold the camera. And that is, you get too far away from the phone and the sound is compromised. And even when you are wearing earbuds, it becomes compromised. So unless you have a plug-in with a long enough cord like Catherine has, you really can't get that far away. So you have to stay close to each other. So that was one thing that I noticed. The sound was compromised in a couple of the videos. Just once they walked in and faced directly into the window, so the whole room went dark. You have to watch those little things. That's why I think it's really important that you practice. You know, this is new technology. This is a new way to run business for real estate agents. We're used to sending someone in to take the pictures, someone in to shoot the video, and now we're having to do so much more than we've ever had to do before, and it takes time to learn how to do it. And you just have to be patient and confident and put the time in.
Yeah, and I think it's really...
Catherine, you're frozen. So we'll wait to see if Catherine comes back on. But there's all kinds of things that you can shoot videos on. It does not necessarily just have to be you shooting a video of a walkthrough of a property that you've just listed, because some of us don't have listings. But you can do interviews with someone in the same room with you, sitting beside you, and you cheat the camera a little bit, and you could do that type of a video. Or you could shoot videos of all the different schools in your area, or your parks, or your dog parks, your favorite restaurant, your favorite coffee shops. There are so many things that you can do. I always used to say to my real estate agents, as I was a managing broker for quite a number of years, I used to say to my agents, a banker goes to work 8 hours a day. How many hours are you putting in to your career? Because right now, a lot of people aren't as busy. It is summertime. So summertime, yeah, the kids are home. But summertime is also a great time because it's nice outside. You can get outside, you can take videos. You just have to be creative. Look at what other people are doing, even if it's not in your industry. And if you like it and it resonates with you and it's relevant to your audience or to the people that you're trying to attract, then just try to do it customized for your business. Are you back, Catherine?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the things we did an interview with Jen Olson for Tonic Sides last week, and she was saying one thing she's learned. I like asking, what did you learn from? What would you like to tell your former self when you first started in business or when you were younger? It's always fun to see what people have to say. And what she said is that when you're creating anything, whether you're writing, whether you're doing videos, whatever it is you're creating, that you're acting as a creator, you have an idea of what you want it to look like. You have an idea of what you want your videos to be like, how you want your blog to show. And there's always going to be a gap in between where you are and what your product is that you just created and that vision that you have in the end. And the only way, the secret to filling that gap is to doing it over and over and over again. And every time you do it, you'll get a bit better and eventually you'll get to where your vision is. So practice, everybody.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you. We have a webinar just on how to conduct real estate virtually. So actually how to apply all the steps that we're talking about, how to use Zoom, how to use live on mobile, on Facebook, on Instagram, on desktop and so on. So please visit our website, keepitsimple.socialmedia.com or catherineair.ca under webinars. And we are updating all our webinars as we go. And there's tons of different times to suit your schedule. So thank you so much, Heather, for popping live today. I'll stop recordings, microphone live. Hopefully it's all going to work out. It's always a challenge.
Enjoy your summer, everyone.
Have a wonderful, wonderful day.